Welcome to Let's Talk. My name is Woodrow Thompson and I'll be your host for this show. I wonder if you could guess who my special guest is today. She is someone that you probably know. Let me share with you some information about her and then you can see if you can guess who she is. She's a multi-award winning Canadian playwright, director, filmmaker, and TV host. Her latest film projects tackles the issue of sex trafficking in Toronto and teenage depression and cutting. But before I tell you who she is, let's take a look at some of her work.
Oh, hey Jess. Can I borrow your scissors?
Actually, I borrowed yours the last time I needed them.
I gave mine to Tanya about an hour ago. I've searched everywhere, I can't find her.
Oh, she was in the kitchen when I started. Maybe she's still there. I can check for you.
No, I've checked there already. In fact, I've checked everywhere, but okay. If you see Tanya or my scissors, let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tanya. 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 It's okay, Tanya. It's okay. It's okay. I'm hurting so much. I'm not strong like you. Yes, you are. You are. I'm not strong like you, Jess. I'm not like you, Jess. Look at me. Look at me. You will be, I promise you. We'll walk through this together.
By now you realize that my special guest is the exciting Cheryl Nembhard. Welcome to Let's Talk.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me, Bishop.
Cheryl, that's been exciting to watch. You're an award-winning director and Canadian playwright. Can you tell us a little bit about your past work and your production company?
Absolutely. I've been a playwright for over 10 years. I was involved in theater growing up, was versed in production, all facets of it, from lighting to sound to tech. Wow. And then also had just that strong passion for writing. Right. And took that gift and brought it to my church, where I'm still a member, Rhema Christian Ministries, and just sort of really just raised a drama ministry there. And one church play went to another and got bigger and bigger as we went. And we noticed that the crowds were getting to capacity. We moved it to Hershey Center, which is about 4,500. That was getting to capacity, turning people away. And that was kind of when something internally went off for me, a little bit of a light bulb. That's sometimes those moments where God shows you this is what you're called to do. This is that thing. And did about maybe 6 plays until my pastor just really felt that I needed to be released, really to take that gift and that ministry out of the 4 walls of church. And so in 2009, the play that did that was called The Ultimate Sacrifice. And that really revolutionized everything. It revolutionized what drama was for our community, how we could use it, how hard we could hit in terms of the messaging. It was an Easter play like none other. And the eve of the closing of that performance, my pastor released me and said, you have to go. And so from that moment, I launched a Christian multimedia company called Exousia Media Group. And so we launched officially on paper 2010, and on paper, and then sort of in sort of actions indeed unofficially 2011. Our first project was The Ultimate Sacrifice at the Panasonic Theater, which is still historically holding sort of a little bit of a cool title. We're the only faith anything that has ever been on a Mervish stage in Canada to this day.
I read about
and that was really cool, and we sold out. And the most hilarious thing though, Bishop, it was in the middle of the G20. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Do you remember the time where they were literally bombing
Yes, I remember that.
torches and fires?
Wow.
They shut down the subway. They literally shut down the subway because of the riots,
Right.
and somehow we sold out. I don't know if they took a donkey, Bishop. I don't know. I don't know what they took to get there, but the community came out and supported, and it's been that journey ever since. And from that time, from The Ultimate Sacrifice, I wrote My Brother's Keeper.
Right.
And that did really well, got a lot of acclaim, and that was really kind of another level. I saw something really interesting happening in terms of the demographic. God was changing it. So we went from sort of local church to faith community to sort of maybe the so-called Black community, now to just the city in general, where all walks of life are coming to see the plays and the films that we do. And from the play, My Brother's Keeper, then I launched into film. I did The Son, which was our first short film. That was a film on fatherlessness and gang life, and the connection between that, and how young men who grow up without fathers have no identity, no sense of direction or purpose, and are looking for that family feeling, and they find it sometimes negatively in gangs. And so we shot that film. It was my first time holding a camera, first time yelling action, cut, didn't know what I was doing. And we submitted that film, and would you believe that film earned 17 film festival nominations internationally around the world, and we won 5 awards, including it was one of those things, and it was there that I got that title. It was in Florida at a particular film festival where we had been nominated for a record-holding 13 nominations in that one festival. And when I had been called up for almost the 6th or 7th time before I left, they grabbed my hand and they said, I need you to, you've been hearing this name all the time, but I need you to just look at this young lady, because she's doing something that is different in our community. And that's where the gritty good came in. That sort of tough, hard, real look at life through a faith lens.
This is exciting. If you could go back, could you see yourself doing this?
Not at all. It's so funny because for almost 12 years of my life, I was a real estate agent. And yeah, I was a real estate agent. It's like night and day, like winter and summer. And the reason I did real estate was because I'm very driven, I'm very good with people. My friends would say I could sell ice to an Eskimo. And I had a gift. I had a gift of just connecting with people. But it also, under the surface and behind the press release, I was lacking in faith. I was not trusting God. I knew that I was called to do this, but as my family would tell me and friends, just out of concern, there's no money in this thing. You have 3 young children, you've got babies. You start to look at things, and that's what we do out of necessity. Bishop, so many times people put their dreams down just to pay the bills. And so that's what I was doing, and you know, the Lord blessed that. I did really well. I rose to top 10% in Canada for Royal LePage, and then got headhunted to Remax and went there. But no matter how well I did in real estate, there was something very empty inside. I knew that I wasn't living the divine call of my life. Like, I wasn't living that full purpose. And selling houses just wasn't impacting lives the way I knew that God had called me to do.
We'll be right back.
have something a little bit different in mind tonight. I hope you don't mind.
We have 13 and 14-year-olds, but we can't bring them on the street.
Welcome back to Let's Talk, and I have with me the exciting Cheryl Nembhard, award-winning filmmaker. And Cheryl, you've done some film that is referred to as gritty good. Why this particular brand of film?
You know, I feel like it is a very specific call. I know that my ministry is through media and through film, definitely via the arts, but I feel a very heavy call to wake the church up. I feel like I am a watchman in this area, and my films and my plays are meant to simply sound the alarm. You know, I always give this cute story. When I was about 5 or 6, I thought I was a pro, the best, hands down, hide and seek champion of the world, of the globe, and that no one could see me. I actually thought that I had invisible powers because, you know, they'd count to 10 and I would do this. I would put my hands over my eyes, and I thought very logically as a child that if I can't see you, then no one can see me. And I felt like I had disappeared. The truth of the matter was, as I'm standing in a room, everyone's laughing and pointing, waiting for me to take my eyes down. Sure enough, I'm in a crowded room, no, mission not accomplished. That's how we are. I feel like that's how many churches are. And overall as a faith community, if we don't talk about it, if we don't acknowledge it, somehow it doesn't exist. But the truth of the matter is that we are living in a dying, broken, suffering world. And we are the light in a world of darkness. And to ignore, you know, and darkness is the absence of light. So the two have to be together for one to exist and shine. And so we are masters. I always say that, you know, we love this verse. We're to be in the world, but not of it. And boy, have we mastered the not being of it part. But we need to be in it. And what does that look like? And so just because of my own background, I really felt the need to sort of go back and reflect and shine a light on these stories that matter. You know, powerful stories like sexual molestation, gang life, prostitution, teenage depression, cutting, and sex trafficking.
In the clip we saw earlier, it mentions depression and cutting. That's something that most people don't talk about. Some people don't even know what that is. What is cutting?
They say that 1 in 4 of every Canadian is suffering from some sort of mental illness. And where I feel we fall short, and I'd love to get your thoughts too on this, Bishop, is we sort of prescribe things away and we say, go to prayer, pray about it, rebuke the enemy. And all of that is powerful and true and accurate. But I also feel that there are some tangible real world things that we need to do. And so we first need to acknowledge that something is wrong. And what's happening now is that a lot of these young people are suffering with heavy depression. In order to numb the pain, to exit the dark world or sad world they're living in, they are inflicting pain on themselves. They're self-hating. And you will never know because, you know, they'll wear the long sleeves and they'll hide it behind a fake smile. So it takes a little bit of investigating, and it takes a little bit of acknowledging that it even exists. And like you said, that it's a very real problem. You see, Bishop, you're looking at someone who has lived a segment of everything that I've written. Every film, every play has a small thread of my own life in there. You're looking at someone who has been sexually molested, has been raped, has lived gang life, has been in and out of the streets. You're looking at someone that has been suicidal. And so it was so important for me, being someone who was literally witness to on the streets, to now turn and give back and be a light for someone else. You see, we need to take the words of the Bible off the page and become the living, breathing word. We need to be the best sermon, the most powerful sermon that anyone could ever hear by our lives. Not by what we say, but what we do. Francis of Assisi, St. Francis of Assisi, my favorite quote, preach the gospel at all times, in and out of season, and when necessary, use words. Wow. Powerful. That is the story of my life. So I want to create images and pictures and stories that somehow point people past the pain to purpose and to the cross.
There's so much more to talk to Cheryl about, but here's another clip from one of her films. Take a look.
I said that's not gonna happen.
I don't believe you! What about me? What about all we worked for?
We?
I mean, is he worth risking your life?
Yes, okay? He's worth it. He did it for me. I owe him this. Look, you don't get it, do you? They're like my family. He only been with me, what, a year? You don't understand. They had my back my whole life.
No, I guess I don't.
Bree, look. I need you to trust me. Do you trust me?
Welcome back to Let's Talk. My guest today is Cheryl Nembhard. She's an award-winning filmmaker and playwright. And Cheryl, it's so good to have you with us today.
Yeah, it's so good to be here.
With children, tell us how that integrates with family and with your work.
Well, I'm a proud mother of 3 children. And yeah, I've got 2 boys and a girl, in this order, boy, girl, boy. Wow. And my son is just turned 20. I know. I just turned 20 and is in university, 2nd year. My daughter is 17 and my youngest is 14. So I am pulling my hair out. Teenagers and someone who thinks that they can tell me what to do in my life. So, and my husband is awesome. We've been married for 22 years, and I got married. I'm a fast tracker. I did everything very young, and you know, I love that I did that now. It was tough, you know, being young and with the family and all of that. But now I get to grow with my kids, and I'm still current and hip and down.
Very good.
The fact that I said I'm down means I'm not down. They're going to be there going, oh, yeah. But you know, and it's really cool because it actually kind of filters into what I do. And so because I still have a very young outlook on life, and I'm surrounded by young people. Exusi Media Group is primarily populated by 20-somethings, millennials. We've had almost 70-something young people pass through, actors, singers, dancers, spoken word artists, you know, film actors, just amazing, amazing people, all believers, all talented. But because we're so young, we can tap into the vein of this generation. We speak the language, we know how to use media, we know images, artists, celebrities, we know how to sort of tie it in to really catch their eye. And so that's what we do, that's our brand at Exusi Media, is to really reach and help and impact the next generation. I always love to share that Exousia, the reason I picked that name, Bishop, is I don't even need to tell you, you are the Bible scholar, but you know, there's 2 attributes to the power of God. There's dunamis, and I love that. God created, God made heavens, earth, sky, animal. The other one that I love is exousia, and that's the authority that God has over darkness.
Oh, yeah.
And so that is when I went into fasting and prayer, that name came to me over and over, and then strangers confirmed that name, and that's when I knew. I knew that we were called and being called to use the arts as a 21st century weapon to address the darkness.
I find that the arts is taking more of a forefront in the kingdom of God. Why do you think that is?
It's such a good question, Bishop, because, you know, I grew up sort of Church of God Pentecostal, you as well. Yes. And I can only imagine, because in my generation, the arts were only relegated to twice a year, if anything.
That's true.
Easter and Christmas.
Of course.
In your generation, were they even open to the arts?
They weren't open to the arts.
Wow.
No, you couldn't do that in church.
I bet you they thought it was worldly and ungodly, and and that's such a shame, because the arts is the expression of God on the earth. It is the breath of God on the earth. Dance and music and visual arts and painting. It's how God expresses the beauty of his creation. Right. And I find that the arts is taking a forefront now because we have found ourselves in a world where this generation and the one after me and after that, they are sensory driven. They have shut their ears to the talking, and everything is image based. Right. And so where sermons and talks and seminars would have done the trick in our generations, now they've tuned us out. So we have to find creative ways. And so the church is now looking for answers. Right. The church is trying to reinvent itself and find ways to be relevant, and to tap into the vein of young people is to tap into the arts. Wow. Right? And that's where you meet them. That's where you find them. And what I love about storytelling through film and theater is that it brings the messages of the gospel to life. It animates the gospel.
More with Cheryl Nembhard when we come back.
TV programs, convocations, conventions, graduations, YouTube commercials. Pinewood Films is a locally owned production company based in Toronto, and we're here to help you capture your event on video. It could be a Saturday or Sunday morning church service, a banquet, a business function, birthday party, even that special wedding day. Absolutely no project is too small or too large. We record and edit all of our footage professionally with high-quality HD and 4K cameras that can be used for TV broadcasting or just home viewing. The choice is all up to you. So, what are you waiting for? Call us right now at 647-933-8068, and there's no obligation. Let's talk about your ideas for your next event or project. The number is on the screen. We're waiting for your call.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. And if you haven't been with us for the last 25 minutes, you have missed an exciting show. We're speaking with the exciting Cheryl Nembhard. And Cheryl, it's so good to talk with you.
It's been an amazing time with you. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
And to hear your history and to hear about your life, if you were to go back, what would you say to your younger self?
I love that question. What would I say to my younger self? I'm going to probably go in point form.
Sure.
There is nothing that you can do that can make God love you more than how he loves you right now.
Oh, that's powerful.
So there's nothing you can do ever for the next 50 years of your life that will make God love you more than he does right now. 1. 2, you don't need the crowd.
Wow.
You don't need the crowd. I found identity, I found comfort, I found strength, I found purpose and value, and all of that in the numbers. And the older I get and the more focused you become on your purpose, you know, the crowd's thin, and you have to be okay to do it alone. Wow. Do it alone, do it scared, do it by yourself, you know. The other one would be that it will all make sense. Wow. It will all make sense. So many times in my life, I just couldn't understand why I was going through what I was going through. And I equated that to God hating me and God wanting to hurt me and destroy me. On this side of healing and restoration, I see now why I went through what I went through. And it all makes sense. It all does come together. And that pain has now sort of created this cool platform for me to use. And I think the last one would be that I'm a masterpiece. I'm a masterpiece. So many times young girls they think they're never enough. Right. They're not pretty enough. They're not thin enough. They're not smart enough. They're not the list goes down. And the fact that when God made me, he made a masterpiece. And when he sees me finished, complete, whole. Our journey is to get to that place where we see ourselves as he sees us. Until then, we're always looking and picking and criticizing.
Right. So what's next for Cheryl Nembhard?
I'm really excited that this door has opened up for film. And one of the things that I had gotten just as a real confirmation early on was that it was 3 streams. There was theater, film, and television, and then I always knew that youth was a big focus. And so we've been doing a lot with youth, with education, going into schools, and I've seen theater thrive. And now we're here in film, and so I just knew it was a matter of time for television to open. And some really awesome doors have been opening. One that I can talk about, one that's still in development, and so one is with Afro Global. It's a show called Standing Ovation that I helped develop, and it's a talent show, but something that's never been done before in Canada. Unlike, so you can think you dance or American Idol, where it's just a singing competition or a dance competition. We are looking for the triple threat: singer, actor, dancer. Excellent. And so actually there's acting competitions and scene work and stuff that you've never seen before. So that's cool. And then I'm working on something for the faith community. And so we'll see how and that'll be a national project. So it's very cool to see that. What I'm most excited about is that I'm working on a feature film right now with a wonderful partner. Her name is McKinney Smith. She wrote a book called A Walk in My Stilettos, if you're familiar with that. And so we're turning that into a film, and just really excited about taking truth to the places it needs to go. I don't want to just do a great film and have a couple of claps and leave it there. Those 2 films are so powerful. They need to get on cable. They need to get on Netflix, on demand. We need as many eyes on it to make a difference. Right.
Cheryl, this has been exciting. We've been blown away just by watching the clips and hearing a lot about the work that you do. How can our viewers follow your work?
I'll blame it on the young folks, but I also am addicted to social media. So on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, it would just be Cheryl Nembhard, my name, Cheryl. N as in Norman, E, M as in mother, B as in Barney, Hard. Cheryl Nembhard. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram there, or you can go to CherylNembhard.com. That site's in development, but you can go on there. You can send me messages. You can book me for events, hosting, speaking. I do a lot of speaking as well, public speaking, and I also minister as well.
Again, Cheryl, thank you for being with us. Well, that's all the time we have on Let's Talk for today. Thank you for joining us. Let's keep talking. See you soon.